Hey, it's Calkert. I mentioned before that I'm the raid leader for Raid Team 2 in the guild Filthy Casuals based on Drendan. As of writing, we're currently 10 out of 10 normal and 9 out of 10 heroic, so that's pretty cool. I want to preface this video by saying that I'm obviously not the GM of Complexity Limit or Method. I'm no world-class raid lead, but after starting from total scratch and leading a team of around 15-20 people through the raids here, I feel like I've learned a lot. If you're someone who wishes their guild had a raid team and you're looking to make one for the first time, or even if you're, I don't know, a seasoned raid veteran, maybe my perspective could be helpful and interesting. I learned a lot from raid leading for the first time this year, and I wanted to share some of the lessons that I've picked up along the way. Some of these come easy, and some you kind of have to learn the hard way, but they're important to know. Here's 5 lessons that I learned from leading my first raid tier. Number 1, your raiders are people. I feel like a lot of really sweaty raid leads forget this. In the middle of a fight, it can be easy to see your team as just a list of numbers. But you have to remember there's a human being behind each of those keyboards. Human beings have feelings, strengths, weaknesses, and most importantly, a life outside of the game. Not everybody has the time to dedicate to hitting item level 215 within a week of the tier opening. Not everyone can manage certain mechanics. A raid leader has to understand that their team isn't a robot legion programmed to raid. Raid should be a fun and challenging addition to people's lives, not an obstacle in the middle of it. Respect your players as people and accommodate their needs. This leads pretty well into my second point. It's similar but more focused. Number 2, listen to your raiders. Everyone has their own ideas about strats, communications, and optimizations. You should listen to those. Don't get stuck in the mindset that since you've done the research and planned the fights out, other people's input isn't as important or meaningful. This is something I had to learn the hard way and early on. Sometimes that gigabrain strat that you learned on the internet just won't work for your group. Hear your players and give credence to their ideas, and you might just find that their suggestions lead to success. If you've seen some raid gameplay in my videos, you might notice that we're not quite doing the meta strats. This is usually because my group voiced their concerns and we worked together to find a method that the group is more comfortable with. It might look messy, but if the boss dies, who cares? Listen to the concerns of your team and come up with solutions that work for everyone. Number 3, celebrate improvement and don't dwell on failure. I think I figured out how those world first teams go through 250 pulls of Mythic Sludge Fist without taking a hammer to their computer. Every week, every night, every pull, find something to celebrate. It could be a single player performing better, or getting to a new percentage on a boss, or setting a record time on a reclear. Finding reasons to celebrate keeps everyone in a mindset of steady improvement and focuses on the positives that come along during raid. But sometimes raid night's just a slog. Reclears go poorly and fatigue really starts to set in. It can be hard to find something to celebrate in situations like this. While that might be true, you also shouldn't dwell on the negatives of the night. There are infinite points of failure in a raid. You've got 15 to 20 humans playing a video game, so human error is a factor, and the game itself involves some sort of RNG. Sometimes on Hungering Destroyer, you've got a beam and miasma, so you die. Despite the raid's best efforts, sometimes the stars just align against you. If a rough night comes along, address it as just a simple off night. You know in yourself that your worst nights don't define your group. Just move along. Number 4, pace yourself. My raid team has been working their asses off practically since the raid tier opened. We're even raiding an extra day this week to get more out of our Vantis runes. It wasn't until this week, the week we've decided to save our lockout to kill Denathrius on heroic, that I realized we should probably take a break. Even if your raid is up and at 'em, but you just don't have it in you to take the reins, give yourself a break. It's not an easy job. And it's funny, a lot of people might hear me say that and say, oh, boo-hoo, you get to play games with your friends twice a week. But leading a raid is so much more than that. It takes a huge dedication of time and mental effort. You've got a lot of people relying on you to make sure things go smoothly and to make sure that you don't waste their time. Sometimes what it takes to succeed is some time off. Raiding is like riding a bike. Your team won't fall apart after a week off. And number 5, this is probably the one that was the hardest for me to learn. You have to have a support network. I know the image in your head when you say you want to be a raid leader. I know I had it too. You're a shining pillar of the community, valiantly leading the charge against the strongest enemies the game has to offer. Then you do it for a night, and immediately you realize you can't do it alone. There's so much that goes in a raid that you don't even think about until you do it. Who's bringing flasks? Do we have feasts or are we bringing our own food? Who's the ranged stack point for Sledgefist? Who's CCing Barghast Shade? This might be kind of a new age hippie way of saying just to delegate, but you really do need to have a network of support. You need players both in and out of your raid that you can trust to help you get things done. Use your guild officers, experienced players, good negotiators, and whoever else you can to cover your weaknesses and be there when you can. These are just a few lessons I've learned from raid leading for the first time this tier, and I think they're things that you should have in your head when you go into it for the first time. If you have any more questions about raid leading, if you're looking to start up a raid team in your guild and you want to know how to do it right, go ahead and leave some questions in the comments in this video, or come find me live at twitch.tv/BeRightBackCoffee. I can always offer some advice. Thanks so much for watching. Go ahead and leave a like on this video. It's really quick, one click, and it helps me out a ton. Thanks so much for watching. Again, this is Calkert, and have a good day.